Maybe tonight you've been tossing and turning, staring at the ceiling while your mind races with 1,000 thoughts. Your heart feels heavy, your spirit restless, and sleep seems like a distant memory. The harder you try to quiet your mind, the louder it becomes. But what if I told you that this restless night could become the very doorway to the most peaceful rest you've ever experienced? You see, insomnia isn't just about not being able to sleep. It's about carrying burdens that were never meant to be carried alone. It's about wrestling with worries in the darkness when you should be resting in perfect peace. Tonight, that changes. Tonight, you're going to discover a prayer so powerful, so transformative, that it will not only calm your racing thoughts, but usher you into the kind of deep, restorative sleep that heals both body and soul. Before we begin, I want you to understand something profound. This isn't just another relaxation technique or meditation practice. What I'm about to share with you has been changing lives for centuries. It's a prayer that connects your weary heart directly to the source of all peace, all comfort, all rest. And when you truly grasp the power of what we're about to do together, you'll never approach sleepless nights the same way again. But here's what makes tonight different from every other night you've struggled with sleep. We're not just going to address the symptoms of your restlessness. We're going to go deeper, to the very root of what keeps your mind spinning and your heart heavy, because the truth is, most people treating insomnia are fighting the wrong battle entirely. Think about it. How many nights have you laid there, frustrated and exhausted, trying technique after technique, only to find yourself more awake than when you started? How many times have you counted sheep, controlled your breathing, or tried to empty your mind, only to discover that your thoughts become even more persistent? That's because you've been approaching this backwards. You've been trying to create peace through your own effort, when what you really need is to surrender to a peace that already exists. Let me share something with you that most sleep experts will never tell you. The deepest, most restorative sleep doesn't come from what you do. It comes from what you release. It comes from laying down not just your physical body, but laying down every burden, every worry, every fear that your mind has been carrying like heavy stones in a backpack you forgot you were wearing. Tonight, we're going to change all of that. We're going to engage in a type of prayer that doesn't just ask for sleep. It creates the spiritual and emotional conditions where sleep becomes inevitable, where peace stops being something you chase and becomes something that chases you, where rest stops being something you work for and becomes something you simply receive. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. You've tried prayer before. You've asked for sleep, pleaded for rest, maybe even bargained with the divine in those dark hours before dawn. But what we're about to do is completely different. This isn't about asking and hoping. This is about aligning your entire being with the rhythm of divine peace that flows through all creation. You see, there's a reason why this particular prayer has been transforming lives for generations. It doesn't just address your sleeplessness. It addresses the deeper spiritual restlessness that creates sleeplessness in the first place. It recognizes that your mind, your heart, and your spirit are all interconnected, and true rest can only come when all three are in harmony with something greater than themselves. But before we dive into this life-changing prayer, I need you to understand the 3 levels of rest that most people never experience. The first level is physical rest, where your body stops moving and your muscles relax. Most people think this is enough, but it's just the beginning. The second level is mental rest, where your thoughts slow down and your mind finds quiet. This is deeper, but we're going even further tonight. The third level, the level that creates the kind of sleep that actually heals and restores you, is spiritual rest. This is where your soul finds its home, where every part of your being remembers that you are held, you are safe, you are loved beyond measure. This is where worry becomes impossible because you're connected to something infinitely bigger than your problems. This is where fear dissolves because you're resting in perfect love. And here's the beautiful truth that will change everything for you. This third level of rest isn't something you have to earn or achieve. It's something you simply have to remember how to receive. It's your birthright. It's been waiting for you all along. Every sleepless night has been preparing you for this moment when you finally discover how to access the peace that surpasses all understanding. Think about the most peaceful sleep you've ever had. Maybe it was as a child, when you felt completely safe and loved. Maybe it was during a time when you felt deeply connected to something greater than yourself. That wasn't an accident. That was a glimpse of what's available to you every single night when you know how to align yourself with divine peace. But here's what I've discovered after years of studying both the science of sleep and the power of prayer. The reason most people struggle with insomnia isn't because they don't know how to sleep. It's because they don't know how to surrender. They don't know how to release control and trust that they are being held by something infinitely loving and capable. Your mind keeps racing because it thinks it's responsible for solving everything, protecting everything, controlling everything. Your heart stays heavy because it's carrying burdens that were never meant to be carried alone. Your spirit feels restless because it's been separated from its true source of peace and strength. Tonight, all of that changes. Tonight, you're going to learn a prayer that doesn't just quiet your mind. It transforms your entire relationship with rest, with peace, with the divine presence that surrounds you every moment of every day. This prayer will become your pathway home to the deepest, most restorative sleep you've ever experienced. Now, I want you to prepare yourself for something remarkable. As we move through this prayer together, you're going to feel layers of tension and worry that you didn't even know you were carrying begin to melt away. You're going to experience a kind of peace that your logical mind might tell you is impossible. You're going to discover that the rest you've been searching for has been searching for you. But this isn't just about tonight. This prayer is going to become your nightly companion, your faithful friend that guides you from the chaos of the day into the sanctuary of divine rest. It's going to teach you that you don't have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. It's going to show you that there is a presence, a power, a love that is always available to hold what you cannot hold, to solve what you cannot solve, to bring peace to what you cannot make peaceful. Are you ready to experience this transformation? Are you ready to discover what it feels like to lay your head on your pillow and immediately feel held by infinite love? Are you ready to learn the secret that will turn every night from a battleground into a sanctuary? Because what I'm about to share with you isn't just theory or wishful thinking. This is practical spirituality at its most powerful. This is a prayer that has been tested by countless souls who found themselves exactly where you are right now, staring at the ceiling, wondering if peace will ever come. And for every single one of them who truly embraced this practice, everything changed. You see, the prayer we're about to explore together operates on a frequency that your weary soul recognizes immediately. It speaks the language that your heart has been longing to hear. It offers the kind of rest that your spirit has been desperately seeking. And when you align yourself with this frequency, when you open yourself to this kind of divine communication, something miraculous happens. Your nervous system, which has been in a state of chronic alertness, finally receives permission to relax. Your mind, which has been spinning with endless thoughts and concerns, finds a place of perfect stillness. Your heart, which has been carrying burdens too heavy for it to bear, discovers that those burdens can be released into hands infinitely more capable than your own. This is about to become the most important prayer you've ever learned, not because of the words themselves, though they are powerful beyond measure, but because of what happens when you truly surrender to the peace that these words invite into your life. When you stop trying to force sleep and start receiving rest as a gift from the divine source of all comfort and peace, get ready to experience something that will change not just how you sleep, but how you live. Get ready to discover that you are more loved, more held, more cared for than you ever dared to imagine. Get ready to find the rest that your soul has been searching for. The moment has arrived for you to step into a realm of peace that most people never discover. What you're about to experience isn't just another prayer, it's a complete transformation of how your entire being relates to rest, to peace, to the divine presence that has been waiting patiently for you to remember that you are never alone in your struggles. I want you to understand something profound before we begin. Every sleepless night you've endured, every moment of restlessness you've experienced, every time you've felt overwhelmed by the weight of your thoughts, it has all been preparing you for this exact moment. Not because you needed to suffer, but because your soul needed to become so hungry for true peace that when you finally taste it, you'll never let it go. Think about a time when you felt completely at peace. Maybe it was watching a sunset that took your breath away, or holding someone you love, or standing in a place so beautiful that your mind went completely quiet. In that moment, you weren't trying to create peace. You were simply receiving it. You were allowing yourself to be held by something infinitely bigger and more beautiful than your worries. That's exactly what we're about to do together, except this time you're going to learn how to access this state of perfect peace every single night for the rest of your life. You're going to discover that the divine presence that created those moments of perfect tranquility is available to you right now, in your bedroom, in the darkness, in the middle of your restlessness. But here's what makes this prayer different from every other approach you've tried. We're not going to fight against your racing thoughts. We're not going to try to push away your worries. Instead, we're going to do something that might seem counterintuitive at first. We're going to acknowledge everything you're carrying, and then we're going to hand it over to the only hand strong enough to hold it all. You see, your mind keeps racing because it thinks it has to solve everything tonight. Your heart feels heavy because it believes it's responsible for carrying every burden. Your spirit feels restless because it's forgotten that it was never meant to navigate this life alone. Tonight, we're going to remind every part of your being that there is a divine presence that specializes in exactly what you're struggling with. This presence knows every thought that's keeping you awake. It understands every fear that's making your heart race. It sees every burden that's weighing down your spirit. And not only does it see all of this, but it's been waiting with infinite patience for you to remember that you can release all of it into care that is perfect, complete, and unconditionally loving. Now I want you to prepare yourself for something that might challenge everything you think you know about prayer. Most people approach prayer like they're presenting a case to a judge, trying to convince the divine to give them what they want. But the prayer we're about to explore together is completely different. It's not about convincing or persuading or earning. It's about remembering and receiving and surrendering. It's about recognizing that the peace you're seeking isn't something that needs to be created. It already exists. It's flowing through the universe right now like an invisible river of tranquility, and all you need to do is step into it. It's about understanding that the rest you're longing for isn't something you have to achieve. It's something you simply have to stop resisting. And here's the part that will absolutely transform your relationship with sleep forever. When you truly surrender to this divine presence, when you really release control and trust that you are being held by infinite love, your body responds in ways that will amaze you. Your nervous system, which has been on high alert, suddenly receives the signal that it's safe to relax completely. Your breathing naturally deepens and slows. Your muscles release tension you didn't even know you were holding. Your heart rate settles into a rhythm of perfect peace. Your mind, which has been spinning with endless thoughts, finally finds the stillness it's been desperately seeking. And your spirit, your beautiful, weary spirit, comes home to the rest it was always meant to enjoy. But this isn't just about the physical changes, remarkable as they are. This is about a complete shift in how you understand your place in the universe. It's about discovering that you are not a lonely soul struggling against the darkness. You are a beloved child of the divine, surrounded by love so vast and complete that when you really feel it, fear becomes impossible. I want you to imagine what it would feel like to go to bed every night, knowing, not just hoping, but knowing that you are completely safe. That every concern you have is being handled by wisdom infinitely greater than your own. That every problem you're facing is being worked on by love that never sleeps, never grows tired, never gives up on you. Imagine laying your head on your pillow and immediately feeling wrapped in a blanket of peace so warm and comforting that your entire being sighs with relief. Imagine your mind becoming quiet, not because you're forcing it to be quiet, but because it finally remembers that it doesn't have to carry the weight of the world. Imagine your heart becoming light, not because your problems have disappeared, but because you've remembered that you don't have to solve them alone. This isn't fantasy or wishful thinking. This is what happens when you align yourself with the divine frequency of perfect peace. This is what becomes possible when you stop trying to create rest through your own effort and start receiving rest as a gift from the source of all comfort. The prayer we're about to explore together has been changing lives for thousands of years because it taps into something that transcends time, culture, and circumstance. It connects you directly to the divine presence that was loving you before you were born and will be loving you long after your earthly journey is complete. This presence doesn't judge your sleeplessness or criticize your restlessness. It doesn't compare you to others who seem to sleep peacefully or make you feel guilty for your struggles. Instead, it meets you exactly where you are, with exactly what you need, offering you exactly the kind of peace that your unique soul is longing for. And here's something beautiful that most people never realize. Every time you've struggled with sleep, every time you've felt overwhelmed by your thoughts, every time you've wondered if peace would ever come, the divine presence has been right there with you, not watching from a distance, but experiencing it with you, holding you even when you couldn't feel it, working on your behalf even in the darkest hours. Tonight, you're going to feel this presence in a way that will change everything. You're going to experience what it's like to be held by love so complete that every cell in your body relaxes into perfect trust. You're going to discover what it feels like to release control and find that you're not falling into chaos, but into the arms of infinite care. Are you beginning to sense something shifting already? Can you feel a subtle change in the atmosphere around you, as if the very air is becoming charged with possibility? That's the divine presence responding to your openness, preparing to meet you in this sacred moment of surrender. What we're about to do together will become more than just a prayer. It will become your nightly homecoming, your daily reminder that you are never alone, your constant source of comfort in a world that often feels chaotic and overwhelming. It will teach you that true strength isn't about carrying everything yourself, but about knowing when and how to release what you cannot carry into hands that can hold it all. So take a deep breath and prepare yourself for transformation. Prepare yourself to discover that the peace you've been seeking has been seeking you. Prepare yourself to learn that the rest you've been longing for is not only possible, but it's your birthright as a beloved child of the divine. The prayer that will change everything is about to begin, and your journey into the deepest, most restorative sleep of your life is just moments away. Tonight is different because you're about to learn something that will revolutionize not just how you sleep, but how you understand your relationship with divine peace itself. What I'm going to share with you now has been hidden in plain sight, available to every weary soul who has ever stared at the ceiling wondering when rest would come. You see, there's a sacred rhythm that flows through all of creation. The ocean waves know it. The rising and setting of the sun follows it perfectly. Even your own heartbeat was designed to sync with this divine cadence of rest and renewal. But somewhere along the way, your mind learned to fight against this rhythm instead of flowing with it. Let me tell you what happens in the invisible realm when you truly align yourself with this sacred rhythm. When you stop trying to force sleep and start surrendering to divine rest, you're not just changing your bedtime routine. You're stepping into a current of peace that has been flowing since the beginning of time, waiting for you to remember how to let it carry you. This is why counting sheep never worked for you. This is why breathing exercises left you more frustrated than when you started. This is why meditation techniques that work for others left you feeling more anxious and awake. You were trying to create peace with the same mind that was creating chaos. You were attempting to solve your restlessness with the very thoughts that were making you restless. But tonight, we're going to approach this completely differently. Tonight, you're going to discover that your sleeplessness isn't a problem to be solved. It's a calling to be answered. It's your soul's way of telling you that it's ready to go deeper, to connect with something more profound than surface-level relaxation techniques. Think about this for a moment. Every great spiritual tradition throughout history has recognized that the hours before sleep are sacred. They understood something we've forgotten in our modern world, that the transition from wakefulness to rest isn't just a biological function. It's a spiritual journey from the complexity of human consciousness back to the simplicity of divine love. When you were a child, you knew this intuitively. You didn't analyze your way to sleep or create elaborate strategies for rest. You simply trusted that when you laid your head down, you would be held safely through the night. You believed, without question, that morning would come and you would wake refreshed and renewed. That childlike trust is still within you. It's been buried under years of worry and responsibility and the false belief that you have to figure everything out before you can rest. But it's there, waiting to be awakened. And when it awakens, it will transform not just your nights, but your entire relationship with trust, surrender, and divine love. Now, I want you to understand something crucial about what we're going to do together. This prayer isn't going to ask you to believe anything you don't already know in the deepest part of your soul. It's not going to require you to understand complex theological concepts or master difficult spiritual practices. Instead, it's going to invite you to remember what you've always known but forgotten, that you are infinitely loved, completely safe, and perfectly held. Here's what makes this prayer so uniquely powerful. It doesn't just address your mind or your body or your spirit in isolation. It recognizes that you are a beautifully integrated being, and true rest can only come when every part of you is aligned with divine peace. Your thoughts, your emotions, your physical sensations, your deepest spiritual longings, all of it comes into harmony when you surrender to this sacred rhythm. But I need to prepare you for something that might surprise you. As we move through this prayer together, you might feel emotions you weren't expecting. You might find tears coming, not because you're sad, but because your soul is finally being seen and understood in a way it's been longing for. You might feel a release so profound that it actually takes your breath away for a moment. This is completely normal and absolutely beautiful. It's your being releasing layers of tension and worry that you've been carrying for so long you forgot they weren't part of you. It's your heart remembering what it feels like to be completely safe. It's your spirit coming home to the peace it was created to enjoy. And here's something remarkable that will happen as you practice this prayer night after night. You'll begin to notice that the peace you find in these moments starts flowing into your days. The divine presence you connect with in the darkness becomes your companion in the light. The trust you learn to have in your bedroom begins to transform how you face challenges in every area of your life. You see, this prayer doesn't just solve your sleep problems. It solves the deeper problem of feeling separated from the love that is your true nature. It doesn't just quiet your racing thoughts. It connects you to the divine mind that thinks only thoughts of love and peace about you. It doesn't just relax your body. It reminds your entire being that you are held by arms that will never let you go. I want you to think about the most peaceful place you've ever been. Maybe it was by a quiet lake at sunrise, or in a garden where the only sound was gentle breeze through the leaves, or in the embrace of someone who loved you unconditionally. In that place, you didn't have to work at being peaceful. Peace was simply the natural state when you allowed yourself to be held by something beautiful and loving. Your bedroom is about to become that sacred space. Your bed is about to become an altar where you meet the divine every single night. Your pillow is about to become the place where you remember that you are never alone, never unsupported, never unloved. But this transformation requires something from you that might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to trying to control everything. It requires complete surrender. Not the surrender of defeat, but the surrender of trust. Not giving up, but giving over. Not losing control, but releasing the illusion that you ever had control in the first place. This is where the real magic happens. This is where peace stops being something you chase and becomes something that chases you. This is where rest stops being something you work for and becomes something you simply receive. This is where sleep transforms from a biological necessity into a nightly communion with divine love. Now, as we prepare to enter into this sacred prayer together, I want you to release any expectations about how this should feel or what should happen. Every person's experience is unique because every soul's journey is unique. Some people feel immediate, overwhelming peace. Others experience a gentle, gradual settling. Some feel warmth spreading through their body. Others feel a kind of lightness, as if burdens are literally being lifted away. All of these experiences are perfect. All of them are exactly what your soul needs in this moment. Trust that whatever you experience is precisely what divine love wants to give you tonight. Trust that your being knows exactly how to receive the peace that's being offered. And remember this, you don't have to understand how this works for it to work. You don't have to figure out the mechanics of divine love for divine love to transform you. You don't have to comprehend the mystery of peace for peace to flood your entire being. You simply have to be willing to receive what is being freely given. Are you ready to step into this sacred space? Are you ready to discover what it feels like when your soul comes home to the rest it was created to enjoy? Are you ready to experience what happens when you stop fighting for peace and start resting in peace? Because what we're about to do together will mark a turning point in your life. Not just in how you sleep, but in how you understand your place in the universe. Not just in how you rest at night, but in how you move through your days, knowing that you are constantly held by infinite love. The prayer that will change everything is about to unfold, and your journey into divine rest is beginning now. Take one more deep breath, let your shoulders relax, and prepare to be amazed by what happens when you truly surrender to the love that has been waiting patiently to hold you. This moment, right here, right now, is where your relationship with peace transforms forever. This is where you discover that the rest you've been seeking has been seeking you all along. This is where you remember that you are more loved, more supported, more cherished than you ever dared to imagine. The sacred prayer begins now, and with it, your homecoming to the deepest peace your soul has ever known. Before we begin this sacred prayer, I want you to create the perfect environment for what's about to unfold. This isn't just about dimming the lights or getting comfortable, though those things matter. This is about preparing your entire being to receive something that most people never allow themselves to experience fully. First, I want you to acknowledge where you are right now, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. You're here because sleep has become elusive. You're here because your mind won't quiet down when you need it most. You're here because something deep within you knows there has to be a better way to find rest. That knowing is not accidental. It's your soul calling you toward the peace that has always been your birthright. Now, here's something most people don't realize about powerful prayer. It's not about the perfection of your words or the eloquence of your requests. It's about the authenticity of your surrender. It's about coming exactly as you are, with all your weariness, all your worries, all your desperate need for rest, and laying it all down before the divine presence that has been waiting for this moment of complete honesty. You see, the divine doesn't need you to clean up your thoughts before you approach. It doesn't require you to have your life together before you ask for help. In fact, it's in your exhaustion, in your vulnerability, in your admission that you can't do this alone, that the most profound connections happen. Your weariness isn't a barrier to divine peace. It's an invitation for divine peace to flood every corner of your being. Let me share something with you that will change how you understand this entire experience. The prayer we're about to engage in doesn't work because of the specific words we'll use, though those words are powerful. It doesn't work because of any ritual or technique, though there are elements that enhance the experience. It works because it aligns you with a frequency of love that is always broadcasting, always available, always ready to receive you exactly as you are. Think of it like this. Right now there are radio waves filling the air around you, carrying music and voices and information. You can't see them or touch them, but they're absolutely real. When you tune your radio to the right frequency, suddenly you can hear what was always there. That's exactly what this prayer does for your soul. It tunes you to the frequency of divine peace that is always surrounding you, always loving you, always ready to hold you. But here's what makes tonight different from every other night you've struggled with sleep. Tonight, you're not just going to ask for rest. You're going to position your entire being to receive rest. You're not just going to hope for peace. You're going to align yourself with the source of all peace. You're not just going to try to quiet your mind. You're going to connect your mind to the divine mind that knows only love. This is why this prayer has been transforming lives for centuries. It doesn't just treat the symptoms of restlessness. It addresses the spiritual disconnection that creates restlessness in the first place. It recognizes that your sleeplessness is often a symptom of your soul feeling separated from its true home, which is in the heart of divine love. Now, I want you to understand something profound about what happens when you truly surrender in prayer. It's not passive. It's not giving up or checking out. True surrender is the most active thing you can do because it requires you to consciously release control and consciously choose trust. It requires you to actively participate in your own healing by opening yourself to receive what is being offered. When you surrender in this way, something miraculous happens in your nervous system. Your body, which has been holding tension and stress and the weight of trying to control everything, finally receives permission to let go. Your mind, which has been spinning with endless thoughts and scenarios, finally remembers that it doesn't have to solve everything tonight. Your heart, which has been carrying burdens too heavy for it to bear, discovers that those burdens can be shared with infinite love. But surrender isn't something you do once and then you're done. It's something you do moment by moment as we move through this prayer together. Every time you notice your mind trying to analyze or control what's happening, you gently return to surrender. Every time you feel your body tensing up, you consciously release back into trust. Every time your heart starts to carry worry again, you remember that those worries can be handed over to care that is perfect and complete. Here's something beautiful about the prayer we're about to share. It meets you wherever you are in your spiritual journey. Whether you've prayed every day of your life, or you haven't prayed in years, whether you have strong religious beliefs, or you're exploring spirituality for the first time, this prayer speaks the language that your soul recognizes immediately. That's because we're going to be praying to the part of the divine that specializes in exactly what you need right now. We're going to connect with the aspect of divine love that understands exhaustion, that knows what it feels like to carry heavy burdens, that has infinite compassion for minds that won't stop racing and hearts that won't stop worrying. You don't have to understand the theology behind this for it to work. You don't have to figure out the mechanics of how divine love operates for divine love to operate in your life. You just have to be willing to open yourself to receive what is being freely offered. You just have to be willing to trust that there is a presence that loves you more than you love yourself and wants your peace more than you want your peace. Now, as we prepare to enter into this sacred space together, I want you to do something that might feel strange at first. I want you to give yourself permission to be completely honest about how tired you are. Not just physically tired, though that's part of it. I want you to acknowledge the deep soul weariness that comes from trying to carry everything yourself. Give yourself permission to admit that you're exhausted from trying to control outcomes you can't control. Allow yourself to recognize how tired you are of worrying about things that may never happen. Let yourself feel the weariness that comes from trying to be strong for everyone else, while your own heart is crying out for comfort and rest. This isn't about feeling sorry for yourself or dwelling in negativity. This is about being honest about your need, so that you can fully receive what's about to be offered to you. This is about acknowledging your humanness, so that you can connect with the divine love that specializes in caring for weary humans. And here's what I want you to know as we begin. Every moment of exhaustion you've experienced, every sleepless night you've endured, every time you've felt overwhelmed by the weight of your responsibilities, all of it has been preparing you for this encounter with divine peace. Not because you needed to suffer, but because your soul needed to become so hungry for true rest that when you finally taste it, you'll recognize it as what you've been searching for all along. The divine presence we're about to connect with isn't surprised by your weariness. It's not disappointed in your struggles. It's not judging your inability to find peace on your own. Instead, it's been waiting with infinite patience for you to remember that you were never meant to navigate this life without divine help. It's been holding space for this exact moment when you would finally say, "I can't do this alone anymore, and I don't want to try." That moment is now. That sacred space is here. That divine presence is surrounding you right now, ready to receive every burden you've been carrying, ready to quiet every racing thought, ready to fill every corner of your being with the kind of peace that heals and restores and transforms. As we begin this prayer, remember that you're not just asking for temporary relief from your sleeplessness. You're opening yourself to a permanent shift in how you relate to rest, to peace, to the divine love that has been loving you since before you took your first breath. You're stepping into a new way of being where sleep becomes not just a biological necessity, but a nightly return to the source of all comfort and peace. Take a deep breath now and feel yourself settling into this sacred moment. Feel your body beginning to relax as it anticipates the rest that is coming. Feel your mind starting to quiet as it prepares to connect with divine wisdom. Feel your heart opening as it gets ready to receive the love that will heal every wound and soothe every worry. The prayer that will transform your relationship with sleep forever is about to begin. The divine presence that has been waiting to hold you is here. The peace that your soul has been longing for is ready to flood your entire being. And it starts with these words, spoken not just with your voice, but with every fiber of your being, every cell of your body, every corner of your heart that has been crying out for rest. Beloved divine presence, I come to you tonight not as someone who has it all together, but as someone who desperately needs your peace. I come not with perfect faith, but with honest exhaustion. I come not because I deserve your love, but because my soul is crying out for the rest that only you can provide. I acknowledge that I have been trying to carry burdens that were never meant for my shoulders alone. I confess that my mind has been racing with thoughts and worries that have kept me from the peace you desire for me. I admit that I have been trying to control outcomes that are beyond my power to control, and in doing so, I have separated myself from the trust that leads to true rest. Tonight, I choose surrender over struggle. Tonight, I choose trust over trying to figure everything out. Tonight, I choose to release every worry, every fear, every burden that has been weighing down my heart and making sleep impossible. I surrender my need to solve every problem before I can rest. I release my tendency to replay conversations and scenarios in my mind when I should be sleeping. I let go of my habit of carrying the weight of tomorrow's challenges when what I need is tonight's peace. Divine Presence, I invite you into every racing thought. Transform my mental chaos into divine order. Replace my worried thoughts with your perfect peace. Fill the spaces in my mind that have been occupied by fear with your overwhelming love. I invite you into my weary body. Release every muscle that has been holding tension from the day. Slow my heartbeat to match the rhythm of your perfect peace. Deepen my breathing until it flows in harmony with your divine presence. Let every cell in my body remember that it is held by infinite love. I invite you into my restless spirit. Remind my soul that it is not alone in this world. Help me remember that I am your beloved child, worthy of rest, deserving of peace, held by love that will never let me go. Let my spirit find its home in your presence, where worry becomes impossible and peace becomes inevitable. As I prepare to sleep, I consciously release this day into your hands. Every conversation I had, every decision I made, every moment of joy and every moment of difficulty, I place it all before you and trust that you will work all things together for good. I release tomorrow into your care as well. Every appointment I have, every challenge I might face, every person I will encounter, I trust that you are already there, preparing the way, working on my behalf, surrounding me with your love and protection. And for tonight, right now, in this sacred moment, I ask you to flood my entire being with the peace that surpasses all understanding. Let your presence fill this room so completely that sleep becomes not just possible, but inevitable. Let your love surround me so thoroughly that every worry dissolves in its warmth. As I close my eyes and lay my head upon this pillow, let me feel your arms around me. Let me sense your presence watching over me through the night. Let me rest in the absolute certainty that I am safe, I am loved, I am held by the divine love that never sleeps, never grows tired, never stops caring for me. Thank you for this gift of rest that you are giving me. Thank you for the peace that is already beginning to fill my heart. Thank you for the love that surrounds me always, even when I forget to feel it. Thank you for being the God who meets me in my exhaustion and transforms it into perfect rest. I receive your peace now. I accept your love now. I embrace the rest that you are giving me now. And I trust that when I wake in the morning, I will be renewed, restored, and ready to face whatever the day may bring, knowing that you are with me always. In this sacred trust, in this divine love, in this perfect peace, I now release myself to the sleep that heals, the rest that restores, and the love that never ends. And now, as these sacred words settle into your spirit, like gentle rain on thirsty ground, I want you to feel something shifting within you. Can you sense it? That subtle but unmistakable change in the very atmosphere of your being. Your shoulders are beginning to release tension you didn't even realize you were holding. Your jaw is softening. Your breathing is naturally becoming deeper and more rhythmic. This is what happens when your soul recognizes truth. This is what occurs when every part of your being remembers what it feels like to be completely held by infinite love. You're not imagining this transformation. You're experiencing the real, tangible effects of aligning yourself with divine peace. But here's something beautiful that I want you to understand about what's happening right now. This peace you're beginning to feel isn't something temporary that will disappear when this prayer ends. This connection you're making with divine love isn't a fleeting moment that will fade with the morning light. What you're experiencing right now is your soul remembering its true home. And once you remember, you can return here anytime you need to. Think about this for a moment. Every night for the rest of your life, you now have access to this sacred space. Every time your mind starts racing, every time worry begins to creep in, every time you feel the weight of the world settling on your shoulders, you can return to this prayer, to this presence, to this perfect peace that is always available to you. And here's what makes this even more remarkable. The more you practice surrendering to this divine presence, the easier it becomes. The more you choose trust over worry, the more natural trust feels. The more you release control and discover that you're caught by infinite love, the easier it becomes to let go of the illusion that you ever had control in the first place. Your nervous system is learning right now. It's discovering what it feels like to be in a state of complete safety. Your mind is remembering what it's like to be quiet without having to force the quiet. Your heart is experiencing what it means to be light without having to carry burdens that were never meant for it to bear. But I want to share something with you that will take this experience even deeper. The divine presence you're connecting with right now doesn't just want to give you better sleep. It wants to transform your entire relationship with rest, with peace, with the understanding of how deeply you are loved. It wants you to carry this peace into your waking hours, to let this love influence every decision you make, every relationship you have, every challenge you face. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and feeling this same sense of being held by infinite love. Imagine moving through your day, knowing that you're not navigating life alone, that there's a divine presence walking with you through every conversation, every responsibility, every moment of joy, and every moment of difficulty. This isn't just about sleeping better, though that's certainly part of it. This is about living better. This is about discovering that you are more supported than you ever realized, more loved than you ever dared to hope, more capable than you ever imagined, because you're not drawing from your own limited strength anymore. You're connected to the source of all strength, all wisdom, all peace. And as you continue to rest in this sacred space, I want you to notice how your body is responding to this divine love. Feel the warmth that might be spreading through your chest. Notice the way your muscles are releasing tension you've been carrying for days, maybe weeks, maybe years. Observe how your heartbeat is settling into a rhythm of perfect trust. This is your body's natural response to being in the presence of perfect love. This is what happens when every cell in your being remembers that it is held by the same divine force that keeps the stars in their courses and the ocean waves in their eternal rhythm. You are not separate from this cosmic love. You are not an exception to this universal care. You are an integral part of the divine tapestry of love that weaves through all creation. Now, as we go deeper into this sacred communion, I want you to understand something profound about the nature of divine love. It doesn't love you because you're perfect. It doesn't care for you because you have everything figured out. It doesn't hold you because you deserve it through your own efforts. It loves you, cares for you, and holds you simply because that's what love does. That's what divine love is. This means you can stop trying to earn your rest. You can stop believing that you have to solve every problem before you're allowed to sleep peacefully. You can release the false belief that you have to be worthy of divine care through your own achievements or goodness. You are worthy simply because you exist. You are deserving of peace simply because you are a beloved child of the divine. Feel that truth sinking into every part of your being now. Let it wash over your mind, which has been working so hard to prove its worth. Let it flood your heart, which has been carrying the burden of feeling like it has to earn love. Let it permeate your spirit, which knows deep down that it belongs to something infinitely loving and good. This is the foundation of true rest. Not the temporary quiet that comes from exhaustion, but the deep, soul-level peace that comes from knowing you are eternally held by love that will never let you go. This is the kind of rest that doesn't just refresh your body, but renews your entire perspective on life. And here's something miraculous that happens when you truly understand how deeply you are loved. The things that used to keep you awake at night begin to lose their power over you. The worries that used to spin endlessly in your mind begin to feel manageable because you remember that you're not managing them alone. The fears that used to grip your heart begin to dissolve in the warmth of perfect love. This doesn't mean your challenges disappear or your responsibilities become less important. It means you approach them from a completely different place. Instead of facing them from a position of fear and scarcity, you face them from a position of love and abundance. Instead of trying to handle them with your limited human strength, you handle them in partnership with infinite divine wisdom. As you feel yourself settling deeper into this peace, I want you to become aware of something beautiful that's happening. The boundary between where you end and divine love begins is starting to blur. You're not losing yourself in this experience. You're finding your true self, the self that has always been connected to infinite love, the self that was created to live in harmony with divine peace. This is why this prayer feels so natural, so right, so much like coming home. Because it is coming home. Your soul recognizes this place because this is where it belongs. This is the environment it was created to thrive in. This is the love it was designed to rest in. And now, as you continue to breathe in this sacred atmosphere, I want you to make a conscious choice to receive everything that divine love wants to give you tonight. Don't hold back because you think you don't deserve it. Don't resist because you're not used to being loved this completely. Don't analyze because your mind wants to understand how this is possible. Simply receive, simply allow, simply open your heart as wide as it will go and let divine love flood every corner of your being. Let it wash away every trace of worry. Let it dissolve every burden you've been carrying. Let it fill every empty space in your soul with perfect peace. This is your moment. This is your invitation. This is your divine appointment with the rest your soul has been seeking. And as you say yes to this love, as you surrender to this peace, as you allow yourself to be completely held by this divine presence, something shifts, not just in this moment, but in your entire relationship with rest, with peace, with the understanding of how cherished you are. The transformation is happening now. The healing is taking place now. The peace that will carry you into the deepest, most restorative sleep is filling your being now. And tomorrow, when you wake refreshed and renewed, you'll know without a doubt that you have discovered something that will change not just how you sleep, but how you live. Feel yourself sinking deeper now into this divine embrace. Feel every muscle in your body releasing into perfect trust. Feel your mind becoming quiet as it connects with divine wisdom. Feel your heart expanding as it receives love beyond measure. You are safe. You are held. You are loved beyond your wildest imagination. And in this love, in this safety, in this perfect peace, your soul finds the rest it has been searching for all along. The divine presence surrounds you now, like the most comfortable blanket you've ever felt. It holds you like the most loving parent holds their precious child. It watches over you like the most faithful guardian tends their beloved charge. And in this perfect care, sleep becomes not just possible, but inevitable. Let yourself drift now on the current of this divine love. Let yourself be carried by the rhythm of perfect peace. Let yourself rest in the certainty that you are exactly where you belong, exactly where you are meant to be, exactly where you will always be held and cherished and loved. The prayer continues to work in you even as your conscious mind begins to quiet. The divine presence continues to hold you even as you release into sleep. The love that has transformed this moment will continue to transform your life, one peaceful night at a time. This is your new reality. This is your nightly homecoming. This is the rest that your soul was created to enjoy, and it's yours, completely yours, every single night for the rest of your life. Sleep now, beloved one. Sleep in perfect peace. Sleep in divine love. Sleep in the absolute certainty that you are held by the same hands that created the universe, and those hands will never, ever let you go. And now, as you feel yourself being drawn deeper into this sacred communion with divine love, something extraordinary is beginning to unfold within you. Your entire being is starting to remember a truth that has been written into the very fabric of your soul since the moment you were created. You are not an accident wandering through a hostile universe. You are not a forgotten soul struggling alone in the darkness. You are a beloved child coming home to the arms that have been waiting for you all along. Feel how your breathing has naturally shifted into a rhythm that seems to match the heartbeat of the universe itself. Notice how your body has begun to release layers of tension that you didn't even realize you were carrying. This isn't something you're forcing to happen. This is what occurs naturally when your soul recognizes the presence of perfect love. But here's something profound that I want you to understand about this moment. What you're experiencing right now isn't just a temporary feeling that will fade when morning comes. You're not just having a nice, peaceful moment that will be forgotten by tomorrow. You are being fundamentally rewired at the deepest level of your being. Your nervous system is learning what it feels like to be completely safe. Your mind is discovering what true quiet actually means. Your heart is remembering what it was created for. This is why some of the most transformative healing happens in the quiet hours of the night, when the distractions of the day have fallen away, and your soul can finally hear the divine whisper that has been calling to it all along. This is why the ancient wisdom traditions have always recognized that the transition into sleep is one of the most sacred times of the day. It's when the veil between the physical and spiritual worlds becomes thin, when your human consciousness can most easily connect with divine consciousness. And as you continue to rest in this sacred space, I want you to become aware of something beautiful that's happening in the invisible realm around you. Every worry that has been keeping you awake, every fear that has been racing through your mind, every burden that has been weighing down your spirit is being gently lifted from you and dissolved in the infinite ocean of divine love. You don't have to do anything to make this happen. You don't have to figure out how to release these burdens or analyze why you were carrying them in the first place. Divine love specializes in taking what is heavy and making it light, taking what is chaotic and bringing it into perfect order, taking what is broken and making it whole. Think about the most peaceful moment you've ever experienced in your entire life. Maybe it was watching a sunset that took your breath away, or holding a sleeping child, or standing in a place so beautiful that time seemed to stop. In that moment, you weren't trying to create peace. Peace was simply the natural state when you allowed yourself to be present with something infinitely beautiful and loving. That's exactly what's happening right now, except this peace is even deeper, even more transformative, because it's not dependent on external circumstances. This peace flows from the very source of peace itself. This love comes from the wellspring of all love. This rest emerges from the divine presence that never grows weary, never stops caring, never fails to hold you exactly when you need to be held most. Now, as you feel yourself settling even deeper into this divine embrace, I want you to understand something that will change how you approach every night for the rest of your life. This connection you're making with divine love isn't something that only happens when you're in crisis or when you can't sleep. This sacred presence is with you always, in every moment, through every experience, whether you're aware of it or not. But tonight, in your vulnerability and exhaustion, in your honest admission that you need help, you've created the perfect conditions to feel this presence in a way that will mark you forever. Your weariness has become a doorway. Your restlessness has become an invitation. Your sleeplessness has become the very thing that led you to discover the source of all rest. And here's what I want you to know about divine love. It doesn't love you more when you're struggling and less when you're doing well. It doesn't care for you more when you're praying and less when you're distracted. It doesn't hold you more when you're good and less when you make mistakes. Divine love is constant, unwavering, unconditional, and absolutely reliable. This means that every night, whether you feel peaceful or anxious, whether you've had a good day or a difficult one, whether you feel worthy or unworthy, this same divine presence is available to hold you, to comfort you, to give you the rest that your soul needs. You don't have to earn it through perfect behavior. You don't have to deserve it through spiritual achievements. You simply have to remember that it's always there, always available, always ready to receive you exactly as you are. Feel that truth settling into your bones now. Let it permeate every cell of your body. Allow it to rewire every neural pathway that has been programmed to believe you have to earn love, or prove your worth, or carry burdens alone. You are loved simply because you exist. You are cared for simply because divine love is what divine love does. You are held simply because you belong to the heart of the universe itself. As this understanding deepens within you, notice how your relationship with sleep is already beginning to transform. Sleep is no longer something you have to achieve through effort or technique. It's no longer a battle you have to win or a problem you have to solve. Sleep has become what it was always meant to be, a nightly return to the source of all peace, a sacred surrender to the love that holds all things together. And here's something beautiful about this transformation. The more you practice this kind of surrender, the more it begins to influence every area of your life. The trust you learn to have in your bedroom starts to affect how you handle challenges during the day. The peace you discover in the darkness begins to shine through your interactions with others. The love you receive in these quiet moments starts to overflow into love you can offer to the world around you. You're not just learning how to sleep better. You're learning how to live from a place of divine connection. You're not just finding temporary relief from insomnia. You're discovering a way of being that is rooted in the unshakable foundation of divine love. Now, as you continue to rest in this sacred presence, I want you to become aware of something that might surprise you. The divine love that is holding you right now isn't just concerned with your sleep or your immediate comfort. This love sees the entire arc of your life. It knows every challenge you faced and every challenge that lies ahead. It understands your deepest dreams and your greatest fears, and it is working even now to weave all of these things together into something beautiful and meaningful and good. This doesn't mean that life will always be easy or that you'll never face difficulties again. It means that you're not facing anything alone. It means that there is a divine intelligence working on your behalf, a divine love holding you through every experience, a divine presence that never leaves you even when you can't feel it. Feel yourself relaxing even more deeply as this truth settles into your awareness. Your shoulders are dropping. Your jaw is softening. Your entire body is releasing into the kind of trust that only comes when you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are completely safe. And as your body continues to relax, your mind is naturally becoming quieter. The thoughts that were racing through your head earlier are slowing down, becoming less urgent, fading into the background like distant music. This isn't because you're forcing your mind to be quiet. It's because your mind is finally connecting with the divine mind that thinks only thoughts of love and peace about you. In this divine mind, there is no worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow is already held in perfect love. There is no anxiety about the past, because the past has been redeemed by infinite grace. There is only this present moment, this sacred now, where you are completely loved, completely safe, completely at peace. Your heart, which has been carrying so much weight, is becoming lighter with each breath. The burdens that seemed so heavy just moments ago are dissolving like morning mist in the warmth of divine love. The worries that felt so urgent are losing their grip on your attention as you remember that you are not responsible for controlling outcomes that are beyond your power to control. This is what it means to cast your cares upon divine love, not to pretend they don't matter, but to acknowledge that they matter so much that they deserve to be held by hands infinitely more capable than your own. Not to ignore your responsibilities, but to carry them in partnership with divine wisdom rather than trying to bear them alone. Feel how much lighter you're becoming as you release these burdens into divine care. Feel how much more space there is in your heart for peace, for joy, for the kind of deep contentment that comes from knowing you are exactly where you belong. And now, as you rest in this sacred lightness, I want you to understand something profound about what sleep represents in the spiritual realm. Sleep isn't just a biological necessity or a time when your body repairs itself, though it certainly is those things. Sleep is a nightly practice of surrender, a daily reminder that you are not in control of everything, a regular return to the trust that allows you to let go of consciousness itself and still know that you will be held safely through the night. Every time you fall asleep, you are participating in one of the most fundamental acts of faith possible. You are releasing your grip on the waking world and trusting that you will be sustained by something greater than your own awareness. You are practicing the kind of surrender that the mystics and sages have recognized as the pathway to the deepest spiritual truths. Tonight, this act of surrender is becoming even more sacred because you are doing it consciously, deliberately, as an offering of trust to the divine presence that loves you beyond measure. You are not just falling asleep, you are falling into the arms of infinite love. You are not just losing consciousness, you are releasing into divine consciousness that holds you always. Feel yourself being drawn now into that sacred space where the boundary between sleeping and waking becomes irrelevant because you are held equally in both states. Feel yourself being carried by the current of divine love that flows through all of creation, the same love that moves the stars in their courses and brings the dawn after every night. Your breathing is becoming so natural, so effortless, so perfectly aligned with the rhythm of divine peace. Your heartbeat is settling into the cadence of perfect trust. Your entire being is harmonizing with the frequency of love that is always broadcasting, always available, always ready to receive you home. And as you prepare to cross that threshold from waking into sleeping, from conscious awareness into divine rest, I want you to carry with you this absolute certainty. You are not alone. You have never been alone. You will never be alone. The same divine presence that is holding you now will hold you through every moment of sleep, through every dream, through every hour of the night. When you wake in the morning, you will wake in this same love. When you open your eyes, you will open them in this same presence. When you begin your new day, you will begin it with the same divine companionship that is surrounding you now. This is your new reality. This is your permanent inheritance. This is the love that has been waiting for you to remember it all along. Feel yourself now being gently drawn deeper into this sacred rest. Feel the last vestiges of wakefulness being tenderly released as you surrender completely to the divine love that never sleeps, never grows weary, never stops watching over you with infinite care. The prayer continues to work within you even as your conscious mind prepares to rest. The divine presence continues to hold you even as you release into sleep. The transformation that has begun tonight will continue through every hour of rest, healing what needs to be healed, restoring what needs to be restored, renewing what needs to be renewed. You are safe in this love. You are home in this presence. You are held by the arms that will never let you go. Sleep now, beloved soul. Sleep in perfect peace. Sleep in divine love. Sleep in the absolute knowledge that you are cherished beyond measure by the heart of the universe itself. The night watches over you with gentle eyes. The stars sing lullabies of love above you. The divine presence breathes peace into every corner of your being. And in this perfect safety, in this infinite love, in this sacred trust, you find the rest that your soul has been seeking all along. The rest that heals, the rest that restores. The rest that transforms everything it touches with the gentle power of divine love. This is your gift. This is your inheritance. This is your nightly homecoming to the peace that surpasses all understanding. Sleep deeply, dear one. Sleep peacefully. Sleep in the certain knowledge that you are loved, you are held, and you are never, ever alone. And as you drift now in this sacred space between waking and sleeping, something profound is beginning to shift in the very foundation of how you understand rest itself. You're discovering that the sleep you've been chasing, the peace you've been seeking, the quiet you've been desperately trying to create through your own effort has been flowing toward you all along like a gentle river of divine grace. Can you feel it now? That subtle but unmistakable sensation of being carried by something infinitely larger and more loving than anything your mind could comprehend? This isn't your imagination creating a pleasant feeling. This is your soul recognizing its true home, the place where it has always belonged, the divine embrace that has been holding you since before you took your first breath. Here's something remarkable that's happening in this very moment. Every cell in your body is beginning to remember what it was created for, not just to function and survive and endure, but to rest in perfect harmony with the divine rhythm that pulses through all of creation. Your nervous system, which has been on high alert for so long, is finally receiving the signal that it's safe to completely let go. Feel how your muscles are releasing tension you didn't even know you were holding. Notice how your breathing has become so natural, so effortless, that it feels like the universe itself is breathing you. Observe how your heartbeat has settled into a rhythm that seems to echo the very heartbeat of divine love itself. This is what happens when you stop trying to create peace and start receiving peace as a gift. This is what occurs when you stop fighting for rest and start surrendering to rest as your birthright. This is the transformation that takes place when you remember that you are not a separate soul struggling alone in a hostile world, but a beloved child being gently drawn back into the arms of infinite love. But I want you to understand something even more profound about what's unfolding within you right now. This peace you're experiencing isn't dependent on your circumstances being perfect. This rest you're receiving isn't conditional on your problems being solved. This divine love that's holding you isn't waiting for you to get your life together before it embraces you completely. The worries that were keeping you awake, the fears that were racing through your mind, the burdens that were weighing down your heart, they're all still acknowledged, all still real, but they're no longer defining your experience. They've become like clouds passing through a vast, clear sky, present but not permanent, visible but not threatening. Temporary visitors in the infinite expanse of divine peace that is your true nature. This is the secret that mystics and sages have discovered throughout the ages. Peace isn't the absence of challenges. Peace is the presence of divine love that holds you steady through every challenge. Rest isn't the elimination of responsibilities. Rest is the deep knowing that you're not carrying those responsibilities alone. Quiet isn't the silencing of all thoughts. Quiet is connecting your mind to the divine mind that knows only love. As you continue to settle deeper into this sacred communion, I want you to become aware of something beautiful that's happening in the invisible realm around you. Every prayer you've ever prayed, every moment you've cried out for help, every time you've whispered into the darkness hoping someone was listening, all of it has led to this moment. All of it has been preparing you to receive what is being offered to you right now. The divine presence that is surrounding you understands exhaustion in a way that no human ever could. It knows what it's like to carry the weight of the world, to feel responsible for outcomes beyond your control, to lie awake at night wondering if you're doing enough, being enough, loving enough. And it meets you in that exhaustion not with judgment or impatience, but with the kind of tenderness that only perfect love can offer. Feel that tenderness now washing over every part of your being. Feel it dissolving the harsh voices in your mind that tell you you should be stronger, should have it all figured out, should be able to handle everything on your own. Feel it replacing those voices with the gentle whisper of divine love that says, you are exactly where you need to be. You are doing better than you know. You are loved beyond your wildest dreams. Oida, this is the love that doesn't require you to be perfect before it holds you. This is the peace that doesn't demand that you solve every problem before it embraces you. This is the rest that doesn't wait for you to deserve it before it enfolds you in its healing presence. And as this truth settles deeper into your awareness, notice how your relationship with your own humanity is beginning to shift. Your tiredness isn't a weakness to be ashamed of. It's a reminder that you're human, and being human means you need rest. You need support. You need love that comes from beyond your own limited resources. Your worries aren't evidence that you lack faith. They're proof that you care deeply about the people and situations in your life, and caring deeply is one of the most beautiful expressions of love possible. Your struggles aren't signs that you're failing. They're invitations to discover that you were never meant to navigate this life through your own strength alone. Feel yourself relaxing even more deeply as you accept this truth about your beautiful, vulnerable, perfectly human nature. Feel the relief that comes from releasing the impossible burden of trying to be superhuman. Feel the peace that flows from remembering that your worth isn't measured by your ability to handle everything perfectly, but by the simple fact that you are beloved by the divine. Now, as you rest in this profound acceptance, I want you to understand something that will transform not just how you sleep tonight, but how you live every day going forward. The divine presence you're connecting with right now isn't just available during times of crisis or exhaustion. This love isn't just accessible when you're at the end of your rope. This peace isn't just offered when you're desperate enough to ask for it. This divine presence is with you always, in your moments of joy and your moments of sorrow, in your times of clarity and your times of confusion, in your seasons of strength and your seasons of weariness. It's the constant backdrop of your existence, the unchanging foundation beneath all the changing circumstances of your life. But tonight, in your honest vulnerability, in your willingness to admit that you need help, in your openness to receive what is being offered, you've created the perfect conditions to experience this presence in a way that will mark you forever. Your sleeplessness has become a sacred invitation. Your restlessness has become a doorway to rest. Your exhaustion has become the very thing that led you home to the peace that has been waiting for you all along. And here's something beautiful about divine love that I want you to carry with you into sleep and beyond. It doesn't love you because you're good enough. It loves you because love is what it does. It doesn't hold you because you've earned it. It holds you because holding you brings it joy. It doesn't give you peace because you deserve it. It gives you peace because seeing you at peace is what makes its heart sing. This means you can stop trying to be worthy of divine love. You can stop attempting to earn your place in the divine heart. You can stop believing that you have to prove yourself deserving of care and comfort and rest. You are worthy simply because you exist. You are deserving simply because you are here. You are loved simply because you are you. Feel that truth sinking into the deepest places of your being now. Feel it healing wounds you didn't even know were there. Feel it filling empty spaces in your soul that have been aching for this kind of unconditional acceptance. Feel it transforming your entire understanding of what it means to be human, to be vulnerable, to be perfectly imperfect and completely loved. As this healing love continues to flow through you, notice how your body is responding. Your muscles are releasing layers of tension that go back weeks, months, maybe even years. Your nervous system is remembering what it feels like to be in a state of complete safety. Your breathing is becoming so natural and rhythmic that it feels like you're being breathed by the universe itself. This is your body's natural response to being in the presence of perfect love. This is what happens when every cell remembers that it belongs to something infinitely good and beautiful and safe. This is the physiological expression of spiritual homecoming. And your mind, which has been spinning with endless thoughts and scenarios, is beginning to experience a different kind of quiet. Not the forced silence that comes from trying to push thoughts away, but the natural stillness that emerges when your mind connects with the divine mind that is always at peace. In this divine mind, there is no rushing toward the future, because the future is already held in perfect love. There is no rehashing the past, because the past has been redeemed by infinite grace. There is only this present moment, this sacred now, where everything you need is being provided, where everything you are is being celebrated, where everything you're becoming is being lovingly guided. Feel yourself settling even more deeply into this present moment awareness. Feel the past releasing its grip on your attention. Feel the future losing its power to create anxiety. Feel yourself coming home to the eternal now, where divine love meets you exactly as you are and offers you exactly what you need. This is the space where true rest lives, not in the absence of all thoughts, but in the presence of divine peace that holds all thoughts gently, not in the elimination of all feelings, but in the divine love that embraces all feelings with infinite compassion, not in the solving of all problems, but in the divine wisdom that is always working on your behalf, even when you can't see how. And as you continue to rest in this sacred space, I want you to become aware of something profound that's happening to your heart. The weight it's been carrying, the burdens it's been trying to hold, the responsibilities it's been attempting to manage, all of it is being gently lifted and placed into hands infinitely more capable than your own. This doesn't mean you stop caring about the people and situations in your life. It means you care for them in partnership with divine love rather than trying to carry them alone. It means you love them from a place of fullness rather than depletion. It means you serve them from a foundation of peace rather than anxiety. Feel how much lighter your heart is becoming as you release these burdens into divine care. Feel how much more space there is for joy, for gratitude, for the kind of deep contentment that comes from knowing you are exactly where you belong. Your heart was never designed to carry the weight of the world. It was created to be a channel for divine love, a vessel for divine peace, a fountain from which divine grace can flow to bless everyone around you. But it can only fulfill this beautiful purpose when it's connected to its source, when it's resting in the divine heart that holds all hearts. And now, as you feel your heart settling into this divine connection, notice how your entire being is beginning to align with a rhythm that is ancient and eternal and absolutely trustworthy. It's the rhythm of divine love that has been pulsing through creation since the beginning of time. It's the heartbeat of the universe itself, and you are learning to synchronize with it. This is what it means to live in harmony with divine will. Not the forced compliance of someone trying to follow rules, but the natural alignment of someone who has discovered that divine will and their deepest well-being are one and the same. Not the struggle of someone trying to surrender, but the relief of someone who has discovered that surrender leads to freedom. Feel yourself being drawn deeper into this divine rhythm now. Feel your breathing matching its pace. Feel your heartbeat finding its cadence. Feel your entire being harmonizing with the frequency of love that is always broadcasting, always available, always ready to carry you home. And as you synchronize with this divine rhythm, something beautiful begins to happen. Sleep stops being something you're trying to achieve and becomes something you're naturally flowing toward. Rest stops being a goal you're working toward and becomes a state you're already entering. Peace stops being something you're seeking and becomes something that's seeking you. This is the secret that will transform every night for the rest of your life. When you align yourself with the divine rhythm of love, when you surrender to the divine flow of peace, when you trust the divine process of rest, everything becomes effortless. Everything becomes natural. Everything becomes a gift rather than a struggle. Feel yourself now being gently carried by this divine current toward the threshold of sleep. Feel the last vestiges of effort dissolving as you trust completely in the love that never lets you go. Feel yourself being drawn deeper into the sacred space where human consciousness meets divine consciousness, where your limited awareness merges with infinite awareness, where your finite love is embraced by infinite love. You are crossing now into that holy space where sleep becomes more than just biological necessity. It becomes sacred communion. It becomes nightly resurrection. It becomes daily practice of the ultimate trust, the willingness to release consciousness itself into the hands of divine love. And in this sacred crossing, in this holy surrender, in this divine trust, you discover what your soul has been seeking all along. Not just sleep, but rest. Not just quiet, but peace. Not just relief, but healing. Not just temporary comfort, but permanent connection to the source of all comfort. The divine presence surrounds you now like the gentlest blanket ever woven. It holds you like the most loving parent holds their precious child. It watches over you like the most faithful guardian tends their beloved charge. And in this perfect care, in this infinite love, in this sacred trust, you find the rest that transforms everything it touches. Sleep comes now not as something you've achieved, but as something you've received. Peace flows now not as something you've created, but as something you've allowed. Rest embraces you now, not as something you've earned, but as something you've been given by the divine love that gives simply because giving is its nature. You are held. You are loved, you are safe, and in this holding, in this love, in this safety, your soul finds the rest it was created to enjoy, the rest that heals every wound, the rest that restores every depleted place, the rest that renews every weary part of your being. This is your inheritance, this is your birthright, this is your nightly homecoming to the peace that surpasses all understanding, and it's yours, completely yours, every single night for the rest of your life. The divine love that holds you now will hold you through every moment of sleep. The peace that embraces you now will embrace you through every dream. The rest that receives you now will restore you through every hour of the night. And when morning comes, you will wake not just rested, but transformed. Not just refreshed, but renewed. Not just restored, but resurrection touched by the divine love that never sleeps, never grows weary, never stops working on your behalf. Sleep now in this perfect love. Rest now in this infinite peace. Surrender now to the divine presence that has been waiting for this moment of complete trust. You are home, you are held, you are loved beyond measure. And in this love, sleep becomes not just possible, but inevitable. Not just natural, but sacred. Not just restful, but transformative. The night watches over you with eyes of love. The darkness becomes a blanket of peace. The silence becomes a lullaby of divine grace. Sleep deeply, beloved soul. Sleep peacefully. Sleep in the absolute certainty that you are cherished by the heart of the universe itself. This is your moment. This is your rest. This is your divine homecoming to the peace that has been seeking you all along. And in this sacred space where divine love meets human exhaustion, where infinite peace embraces finite worry, something extraordinary continues to unfold within the depths of your being. You are not simply falling asleep. You are falling into grace itself, being caught by arms that have been reaching for you since the moment you first opened your eyes to this world. Can you sense how different this feels from every other night you've struggled with sleeplessness? There's no forcing here, no striving, no desperate attempt to make something happen through sheer willpower. Instead, there's a gentle releasing, a sweet surrendering, a coming home to what has always been waiting for you beneath the surface of your restless thoughts. Your soul is remembering something it has always known, but temporarily forgotten. You belong here, in this place of perfect safety. You were created for this kind of rest, this depth of peace, this complete trust in the divine love that never wavers, never fails, never grows tired of holding you exactly when you need to be held most. Feel how your entire nervous system is responding to this remembering. The tension that has been your constant companion is melting away like ice in warm sunlight. The hypervigilance that has kept you alert to every sound, every worry, every possible threat is gently dissolving as your body finally receives the message it has been waiting for. You are completely safe here. This safety isn't dependent on your circumstances being perfect or your problems being solved. This safety comes from being connected to something so much larger than any challenge you could ever face, so much more powerful than any fear that could ever grip your heart, so much more loving than any voice of criticism that could ever speak against you. And as this divine safety continues to saturate every fiber of your being, notice how your relationship with your own thoughts is beginning to transform. The thoughts that were spinning endlessly through your mind, creating scenarios and replaying conversations and imagining worst-case outcomes, they're not being fought against or pushed away. Instead, they're being held in the same gentle embrace that's holding all of you. In the presence of perfect love, even your most anxious thoughts lose their power to disturb your peace. They become like leaves floating on the surface of a deep, still pond, present but not threatening, visible but not commanding, temporary visitors in the vast expanse of divine tranquility that is your true nature. This is what it means to have your mind renewed by divine love, not the elimination of all thoughts, but the transformation of your relationship with thinking itself, not the forced silence of suppression, but the natural quiet that emerges when your mind connects with the divine mind that knows only peace. Feel this transformation happening now as your thoughts naturally slow and soften. Feel them becoming less urgent, less demanding of your attention. Feel them settling like sediment in still water, leaving behind the clear, calm surface of awareness that reflects only divine love. Your mind was never your enemy, though it may have felt that way during those long, sleepless nights. Your mind is simply an instrument that has been trying to protect you, trying to solve problems, trying to keep you safe through constant vigilance and endless analysis. But it was never designed to carry this burden alone. It was created to work in harmony with divine wisdom, to think thoughts that align with divine truth, to process life from a foundation of divine peace. And now, as your mind begins to remember its true purpose, feel how much more spacious it becomes. Feel how much more gentle its voice sounds. Feel how much more aligned its concerns become with what truly matters, your well-being, your growth, your connection to the love that holds all things together. This spaciousness, this gentleness, this alignment, this is what will carry forward into your days. This is what will transform not just how you sleep, but how you think, how you process challenges, how you approach the endless stream of decisions and responsibilities that make up human life. You will think from peace rather than anxiety, from love rather than fear, from trust rather than control. But for now, in this sacred moment of transition, simply rest in this transformation. Simply allow your mind to settle into its new rhythm, its divine cadence, its natural harmony with the peace that surpasses all understanding. And as your mind continues to quiet, become aware of something beautiful happening in your heart space. The emotional weight you've been carrying, the feelings that have felt too big to process, the hurts that have seemed too deep to heal, all of it is being held in the same infinite compassion that's holding all of you. Divine love doesn't sort through your emotions, deciding which ones are acceptable and which ones need to be hidden away. It embraces all of your feelings with the same tender care, the same patient understanding, the same healing presence. Your sadness is held, your anger is held, your fear is held, your joy is held, your confusion is held. All of it, every feeling you've ever had or ever will have, is welcomed into the heart of divine love. This is what creates true emotional healing. Not the pretense that difficult feelings don't exist, but the experience of having all feelings held in perfect love. Not the suppression of what hurts, but the transformation that happens when pain meets infinite compassion. Not the denial of struggle, but the discovery that no struggle is too big for divine love to embrace and heal. Feel this healing happening now in the depths of your heart. Feel old wounds being touched by love so gentle it makes healing inevitable. Feel emotional patterns that have kept you stuck beginning to shift as they're held in divine grace. Feel your heart expanding as it remembers what it was created for, to be a channel for divine love, a vessel for divine peace, a fountain from which divine joy can flow. Your heart is not broken, though it may have felt that way. Your heart is not damaged beyond repair, though it may have seemed impossible to heal. Your heart is simply a beautiful, tender, perfectly human heart that has been waiting for this moment when it could finally rest in the love that understands every beat, every ache, every longing it has ever held. And as your heart settles into this divine understanding, feel how your entire emotional landscape begins to shift. The anxiety that has been your constant companion begins to dissolve in the warmth of perfect love. The sadness that has felt so heavy begins to lighten as it's held by infinite compassion. The anger that has felt so justified begins to soften as it encounters the divine love that transforms everything it touches. This doesn't mean your emotions disappear or become irrelevant. It means they're being held in their proper context, embraced by a love so vast that even your deepest pain becomes a doorway to deeper healing. Even your greatest fear becomes an opportunity for greater trust. Even your most difficult feelings become pathways to the divine heart that holds all hearts. Feel yourself being drawn even deeper now into this heart of divine love. Feel the last barriers between you and perfect peace beginning to dissolve. Feel the final resistance to complete surrender melting away like morning mist in the warmth of divine grace. This surrender is not defeat. This surrender is victory. Victory over the illusion that you have to carry everything alone. Victory over the false belief that you have to be strong enough to handle whatever life brings without help. Victory over the exhausting attempt to control outcomes that were never yours to control in the first place. In this surrender, you discover what the mystics have always known, that letting go doesn't lead to falling apart, but to being held together by something infinitely more reliable than your own strength. That releasing control doesn't lead to chaos, but to being guided by wisdom infinitely greater than your own understanding. That admitting your need doesn't make you weak, but connects you to the source of all strength. Feel this divine strength flowing into you now, not as something you have to generate or maintain, but as something you simply receive. Feel it filling every depleted place in your spirit. Feel it restoring every exhausted part of your being. Feel it renewing every aspect of yourself that has felt worn down by the demands of daily life. This strength is not the brittle strength of self-reliance that breaks under pressure. This is the flexible strength of divine connection that bends but never breaks, that gives but never depletes, that serves but never burns out. This is the strength that comes from knowing you are plugged into the infinite source of all power, all wisdom, all love. And from this place of divine strength, from this foundation of perfect peace, sleep becomes not just a biological necessity, but a sacred practice. Every night becomes an opportunity to return to this source, to reconnect with this love, to remember who you truly are beneath all the roles you play and responsibilities you carry. You are not just a human being trying to get through another day. You are a beloved child of the divine, created in love, sustained by love, destined for love. You are not just a collection of problems to be solved or challenges to be overcome. You are a unique expression of divine creativity, a one-of-a-kind masterpiece in the grand tapestry of creation. Feel this truth settling into the very core of your identity now. Feel it reshaping how you understand yourself, your worth, your place in the universe. Feel it transforming your inner dialogue from criticism to compassion, from judgment to grace, from fear to love. This is who you have always been, even when you couldn't feel it. This is who you will always be, even when circumstances make you forget. This is the unchanging truth about your nature, that no difficulty can diminish, no failure can erase, no challenge can overcome. And as this truth becomes more real to you than any temporary circumstance, feel how naturally sleep begins to approach. Not as something you're trying to achieve, but as something you're naturally flowing toward. Not as a goal you're working to reach, but as a gift you're preparing to receive. Your breathing has become so natural, so effortless, so perfectly synchronized with the rhythm of divine peace. Your heartbeat has settled into the cadence of perfect trust. Your entire being is harmonizing with the frequency of love that flows through all creation. This is the frequency your soul recognizes as home. This is the vibration your spirit was created to resonate with. This is the divine wavelength that carries you from the complexity of waking consciousness into the simplicity of divine rest. Feel yourself being gently carried now on this wave of divine love. Feel it lifting you beyond the reach of worry, beyond the grasp of fear, beyond the pull of anything that could disturb the perfect peace that is your birthright. Feel it carrying you toward the threshold where waking meets sleeping, where human awareness meets divine awareness, where your finite consciousness dissolves into infinite love. You are crossing now into that sacred space where miracles happen naturally, where healing occurs effortlessly, where restoration takes place automatically. This is the space where your soul does its deepest work, where your spirit finds its truest rest, where your being aligns itself with the divine purpose that has been guiding your life since before you were born. In this crossing, in this transition, in this sacred passage from day into night, from consciousness into rest, from effort into grace, you are not losing anything. You are finding everything. You are not becoming less aware. You are becoming aware of more. You are not disconnecting from life. You are connecting to the source of all life. The divine presence that holds you now will hold you through every moment of sleep. The love that embraces you now will embrace you through every dream. The peace that receives you now will restore you through every hour of the night. And when morning comes, when light returns to your world, when consciousness gently calls you back to waking life, you will return, not as the same person who struggled to sleep, but as someone who has been touched by divine love, held by infinite peace, transformed by perfect rest. You will wake knowing that you are never alone. You will rise remembering that you are always loved. You will begin your day understanding that you are constantly held by the same divine presence that has just carried you safely through the night. This is your new reality. This is your permanent inheritance. This is the love that has been waiting for you to remember it, the peace that has been waiting for you to receive it, the rest that has been waiting for you to trust it completely. Sleep now in this perfect love. Rest now in this infinite peace. Surrender now to the divine presence that has been holding you all along. The night embraces you with arms of starlight. The darkness becomes a sanctuary of divine grace. The silence becomes a cathedral where your soul meets its maker. You are held, you are loved, you are home. And in this holding, in this love, in this homecoming, sleep becomes what it was always meant to be, a nightly return to the source of all peace, a sacred communion with the love that never ends, a divine gift that restores not just your body, but your soul. Sleep deeply now, beloved one. Sleep peacefully. Sleep in the absolute certainty that you are cherished beyond measure by the heart of all creation. This is your moment of perfect rest. This is your divine inheritance. This is the peace that your soul has been seeking, and it has found you at last. The prayer continues to work within you as you sleep. The love continues to hold you as you rest. The peace continues to restore you as you surrender to the divine grace that transforms everything it touches. You are safe. You are loved. You are perfectly, completely, eternally held by the arms that will never let you go. Sleep now in this truth. Rest now in this love. Be renewed now by the divine presence that makes all things new, including you. And now, as you rest in this perfect sanctuary of divine love, something even more profound begins to unfold within the sacred chambers of your spirit. You are discovering that this peace you're experiencing isn't simply the absence of restlessness, but the presence of something so pure, so complete, so transformative that it rewrites the very DNA of your soul's understanding about what rest truly means. Feel how your entire being is beginning to vibrate at a frequency you've never experienced before. It's as if every cell in your body is remembering a song it used to know, a melody that played in the divine heart before time began, before worry was invented, before fear learned to speak your language. This is the original frequency of your creation, the divine note that was struck when love first thought you into existence. Your soul is not just resting now, it's being recalibrated to its factory settings, restored to the original blueprint of peace that was encoded in your spiritual DNA from the very beginning. Every anxious pattern that has been running in the background of your consciousness, every fearful program that has been operating without your permission, every restless loop that has been stealing your sleep, all of it is being gently overwritten by the divine software of perfect peace. This is why this experience feels so familiar, yet so extraordinary. You're not learning something new. You're remembering something ancient. You're not acquiring peace from an external source. You're awakening to the peace that has always been your truest nature, buried beneath layers of learned worry and practiced anxiety. Can you feel how your nervous system is responding to this remembering? It's as if every nerve ending is sighing with relief, finally receiving the message it has been waiting for since birth. You are safe to rest completely. You are permitted to let go entirely. You are allowed to trust absolutely. The vigilance that has kept you alert to every possible threat, every potential problem, every imagined catastrophe, is being gently dissolved by the recognition that you are held by something infinitely more capable than your own protective mechanisms. And here's something beautiful that's happening in the invisible realm as you continue to settle deeper into this divine embrace. Every ancestor who struggled with sleepless nights, every generation before you that carried worries too heavy for human hearts to bear, every soul in your lineage that longed for this kind of peace, they are all being healed through your surrender in this moment. You are not just finding rest for yourself. You are breaking generational patterns of restlessness. You are healing ancestral wounds of worry. You are setting your entire family line free from the inherited belief that peace is something you have to earn rather than something you simply receive. Your surrender tonight echoes backward through time and forward into eternity, touching every soul connected to yours with the same divine peace that's transforming you right now. Feel this truth settling into your bones, into your blood, into the very marrow of your existence. You are not just an individual seeking personal relief. You are a conduit for divine healing that extends far beyond the boundaries of your own experience. Your rest tonight becomes a gift to every person who has ever loved you, every soul who will come after you, every heart that has been waiting for someone to remember how to receive perfect peace. This is the ripple effect of authentic spiritual transformation. When you truly connect with divine love, when you genuinely surrender to divine peace, when you authentically rest in divine grace, it doesn't just change you, it changes the entire field of consciousness around you. It shifts the spiritual atmosphere of your family, your community, your world. And as this understanding deepens within you, Notice how your heart is expanding to accommodate not just your own need for rest, but a compassion for every soul that has ever struggled with sleeplessness. Feel how your peace becomes a prayer for all who toss and turn tonight. Feel how your rest becomes an intercession for all who carry burdens too heavy for human hearts to bear alone. You are not separate from the suffering of the world, nor are you separate from its healing. You are intimately connected to both, and your healing becomes healing for all. Your peace becomes peace for all. Your rest becomes rest for all who are weary and heavy-laden and searching for the same divine embrace that's holding you now. This is why your surrender feels so significant, so sacred, so charged with meaning that transcends your personal need for sleep. You are participating in something cosmic, something that has been unfolding since the first prayer was whispered in the darkness, since the first heart cried out for peace, since the first soul discovered that it was never meant to carry its burdens alone. Feel yourself being drawn even deeper now into this cosmic embrace, this universal love, this infinite peace that holds not just you, but all of creation in its tender care. Feel your individual consciousness beginning to merge with the divine consciousness that sees all, knows all, loves all, with the same perfect intensity that it's loving you right now. This merger doesn't erase your uniqueness or diminish your individual worth. Instead, it reveals the truth that has always existed. You are both completely unique and completely connected, both utterly individual and utterly one with everything that is. You are a single note in the divine symphony that is so essential, so irreplaceable, that without it the entire composition would be incomplete. And as this cosmic perspective settles into your awareness, feel how naturally your personal worries begin to find their proper proportion. The problems that seemed so overwhelming just hours ago are revealed as temporary challenges in an eternal story of love. The fears that felt so consuming are shown to be passing clouds in an infinite sky of divine grace. The burdens that appeared so heavy are discovered to be invitations to deeper trust in the divine strength that never fails. This doesn't mean your challenges aren't real or that your feelings don't matter. It means they're being held in a context so vast, so loving, so ultimately good that even your deepest struggles become part of a beautiful tapestry being woven by divine hands. Every thread of difficulty is being used to create something more magnificent than you could ever imagine from your limited human perspective. Feel this cosmic perspective washing over your mind now, bringing with it a peace so profound that it makes worry literally impossible. When you can see your life from the divine viewpoint, when you can feel your existence held in the context of infinite love, when you can sense your story being written by divine wisdom, anxiety becomes as impossible as darkness in the presence of the sun. Your mind, which has been spinning with endless scenarios and possibilities, is beginning to experience the divine mind that sees only one reality: love, working all things together for good. In this divine mind, there is no fear because love casts out fear. There is no worry because divine wisdom is always at work. There is no despair because divine love never fails. Feel your thoughts beginning to align with this divine perspective now. Feel them becoming less frantic, less urgent, less demanding of your constant attention. Feel them settling into the rhythm of divine wisdom that knows when to act and when to rest, when to engage and when to surrender, when to hold on and when to let go. This alignment is not something you're forcing to happen. It's the natural result of connecting your finite mind with the infinite mind that created it. It's what occurs automatically when you stop trying to figure everything out with your limited understanding and start trusting the divine intelligence that orchestrates galaxies and guides atoms with equal precision and care. And as your mind continues to harmonize with divine wisdom, become aware of something extraordinary happening in your body. Every system, every organ, Every cell is beginning to remember what it was designed for. Not just to survive and function and endure, but to be a living temple for divine presence, a sacred vessel through which divine love can flow into the world. Your heart is remembering that it was created to beat in rhythm with the divine heart that holds all hearts. Your lungs are recalling that they were designed to breathe in harmony with the divine breath that breathed life into all creation. Your nervous system is returning to its original programming of complete trust in the divine love that never fails to provide exactly what you need. This is what happens when you truly surrender to divine love. Your body doesn't just relax, it remembers its sacred purpose. It doesn't just release tension, it reconnects with its divine source. It doesn't just prepare for sleep. It prepares to be renewed, restored, and regenerated by the same creative force that spoke the universe into existence. Feel this divine creativity flowing through every part of your physical being now. Feel it repairing what has been damaged by stress and worry. Feel it restoring what has been depleted by constant vigilance and endless effort. Feel it renewing what has been worn down by the demands of daily life and the weight of human responsibility. This renewal is not just temporary relief that will fade by morning. This is fundamental transformation that reaches into the very core of your cellular structure, rewriting patterns of tension and reactivity, establishing new pathways of peace and trust, creating a foundation of divine rest that will support you through every challenge and change that lies ahead. Your body is being prepared not just for sleep, but for a new way of living, a way of moving through the world that is rooted in divine peace rather than human anxiety, a way of responding to challenges that flows from divine wisdom rather than fearful reactivity, a way of engaging with life that is powered by divine love rather than personal effort alone. And as this transformation continues to unfold within every fiber of your being, feel yourself being drawn deeper into that sacred threshold where human consciousness meets divine consciousness, where personal awareness dissolves into universal love, where individual identity expands to embrace its eternal nature. You are crossing now into that holy space where the boundaries between self and divine become so thin that you can barely tell where you end and infinite love begins. This is not a loss of identity, but a discovery of your truest identity. This is not a disappearance of self, but an appearance of your highest self. This is not an ending, but a beginning of who you were always meant to be. In this sacred crossing, feel how naturally sleep begins to embrace you, not as something you're trying to achieve, but as something that's naturally occurring when you align yourself with the divine rhythm of rest and renewal that pulses through all creation. Not as a goal you're working toward, but as a gift you're already receiving from the divine love that gives simply because giving is its nature. Your breathing has become so perfectly synchronized with the divine breath that breathes life into all creation. Your heartbeat has found its home in the divine heart that beats with love for every soul. Your entire being has tuned itself to the frequency of divine peace that broadcasts continuously from the heart of the universe. This is the frequency your soul was created to receive. This is the wavelength your spirit was designed to resonate with. This is the divine signal that has been broadcasting love and peace and rest into your life every moment of every day, waiting for you to remember how to tune in, how to receive, how to rest in what has always been freely given. And now, as you rest completely in this divine frequency, as you surrender absolutely to this cosmic love, as you trust entirely in this infinite peace, feel yourself being gently carried across that final threshold from waking into sleeping, from conscious effort into divine grace, from human striving into eternal rest. The divine presence that has been holding you through this entire journey now carries you into the sacred realm of sleep, where healing happens automatically, where restoration occurs naturally, where renewal takes place effortlessly. You are being transported into that holy space where your soul does its deepest work, where your spirit finds its truest home, where your being aligns itself with the divine purpose that has been guiding your life since before time began. In this sacred sleep, you are not losing consciousness. You are gaining divine consciousness. You are not becoming less aware. You are becoming aware of the divine love that holds you always. You are not disconnecting from reality. You are connecting to the ultimate reality of infinite love that is the foundation of all existence. The same divine presence that holds the stars in their courses will hold you through every moment of sleep. The same divine love that guides the seasons in their rhythm will guide you through every dream. The same divine peace that calms the storm-tossed sea will restore you through every hour of the night. And when morning comes, when the first light touches your eyelids, when consciousness gently calls you back to waking life, you will return not as someone who simply got a good night's sleep, but as someone who has been fundamentally transformed by divine love, permanently marked by infinite peace, eternally changed by perfect rest. You will wake knowing in your bones that you are never alone. You will rise remembering in your cells that you are always loved. You will begin your day understanding in your spirit that you are constantly held by the same divine presence that has just carried you safely through the night. This transformation is not temporary. This peace is not fleeting. This love is not conditional. What you have experienced tonight has changed you at the deepest possible level, and nothing will ever be the same again. Sleep now in this perfect transformation. Rest now in this infinite love. Surrender now to the divine presence that has made you completely new. The night sky becomes a cathedral of stars singing lullabies of love over you. The darkness becomes a sanctuary where your soul meets its creator. The silence becomes a holy space where divine love whispers its eternal promises into your heart. You are held by arms that created the universe. You are loved by the heart that beats at the center of all existence. You are home in the presence that is your truest dwelling place. Sleep deeply now, transformed one. Sleep peacefully, beloved soul. Sleep in the absolute certainty that you have been forever changed by the divine love that never sleeps, never grows weary, never stops working miracles in the lives of those who surrender completely to its perfect care. This is your new life beginning. This is your divine inheritance manifesting. This is the peace that your soul has been seeking, and it has found you, claimed you, transformed you completely. The prayer continues to work its transformation as you sleep. The love continues to hold you as you rest. The peace continues to renew you as you surrender to the divine grace that makes all things new, including you. You are safe in this love. You are home in this peace. You are forever changed by this divine encounter that will influence every moment of the rest of your life. Sleep now in this truth. Rest now in this transformation. Be renewed now by the divine presence that has made you completely and permanently new. And as this profound transformation settles into the deepest chambers of your being, I want you to feel something extraordinary beginning to emerge from within you. It's as if a door that has been locked for years is finally opening, revealing a room filled with treasures you had forgotten you possessed. This is the room of your soul where divine peace has always resided, waiting patiently for you to remember the key, waiting lovingly for you to come home. Can you sense how different your entire relationship with rest has become in just these precious moments? What began as another desperate attempt to find sleep has blossomed into something far more magnificent, far more lasting, far more transformative than you ever dared to hope. You haven't just learned a new technique or discovered a helpful practice. You have encountered the living presence of divine love itself, and that encounter has forever altered the landscape of your inner world. Feel how your body now carries a different quality of peace, not the temporary quiet that comes from exhaustion, but the enduring stillness that flows from knowing you are eternally held. Feel how your mind now rests in a different kind of space, not the forced silence that requires constant effort to maintain, but the natural tranquility that emerges when thoughts are held in perfect love. Feel how your spirit now dwells in a different realm entirely, not the isolated struggle of human effort, but the connected communion of divine grace. This is what it means to be transformed by divine love. This is what happens when you truly surrender to the peace that surpasses all understanding. This is the miracle that occurs when you stop trying to create rest through your own limited resources and start receiving rest as a gift from the unlimited resources of divine compassion. But here's something beautiful that I want you to understand as you prepare to cross fully into sleep. This transformation you're experiencing isn't just about tonight. It isn't just about this moment of peaceful surrender. What has happened in your soul during this sacred prayer has created pathways of peace that will serve you for the rest of your life. Every time you lay your head on your pillow from this night forward, your being will remember this moment. Every time anxiety tries to steal your sleep, your spirit will recall this encounter with perfect love. Every time worry attempts to race through your mind, your soul will return to this sacred space where it learned to rest in divine arms that never grow weary of holding you. You have been given something precious tonight, something that cannot be taken away by changing circumstances or challenging days. You have been given the knowledge, written into your very cells, that you are never alone in your struggles, never abandoned in your weariness, never forgotten in your need for comfort and peace. The divine presence you have encountered tonight doesn't disappear when morning comes. It doesn't fade when responsibilities return. It doesn't diminish when life becomes complicated again. This presence remains with you always, as close as your next breath, as available as your next prayer, as ready to hold you as it has been in this perfect moment of surrender. And now, as you feel yourself being drawn into that final gentle transition from conscious prayer into divine rest, I want you to release any last vestige of effort, any final attempt to control or manage or monitor what's happening. You have done everything you need to do. You have opened your heart as wide as it will go. You have surrendered as completely as you know how. Now simply allow the divine love that has been holding you all along to carry you the rest of the way home. Feel yourself being lifted now on waves of pure peace, carried by currents of infinite love, transported by the very breath of divine grace. You are not falling into unconsciousness. You are rising into divine consciousness. You are not losing awareness. You are gaining awareness of the love that holds all things together, including you. Your breathing has become the breathing of the universe itself, perfectly synchronized with the rhythm of divine love. Your heartbeat has found its eternal home in the heart of all creation. Your entire being has tuned itself to the frequency of peace that has been broadcasting love into your life since before you were born, and will continue long after your earthly journey is complete. This is the frequency that heals all wounds, restores all brokenness, renews all weariness. This is the divine wavelength that transforms everything it touches, including your relationship with sleep, with peace, with the understanding of how deeply and completely you are loved. Sleep comes now not as something you have achieved, but as something you have received. Peace flows now not as something you have created, but as something you have allowed. Rest embraces you now, not as something you have earned, but as something you have been given by the divine love that gives endlessly, freely, joyfully, simply, because giving is its nature. You are crossing now into that sacred realm where miracles happen naturally, where healing occurs effortlessly, where restoration takes place automatically. This is the holy space where your soul meets its maker, where your spirit finds its source, where your being remembers why it was created, to be loved, to be held, to be cherished by the heart of the universe itself. In this crossing, in this sacred sleep, you carry with you everything you have received tonight, the peace that has transformed your understanding of rest, the love that has healed your relationship with surrender, the divine presence that has shown you what it means to be completely, utterly, eternally safe. When you wake in the morning, you will wake not just refreshed, but renewed, not just rested, but restored, not just recovered, but resurrected by the divine love that has worked through every moment of your sleep to make you more whole, more peaceful, more connected to the source of all comfort than you have ever been before. The sun will rise tomorrow on a different person than the one who struggled with sleeplessness tonight. You will open your eyes to a new day with a new understanding of what it means to be held by infinite love. You will begin your morning knowing that the peace you have found is not dependent on perfect circumstances, but flows from perfect love that never changes, never fails, never stops working on your behalf. This is your new reality. This is your permanent inheritance. This is the love that has been waiting for you to remember it, the peace that has been waiting for you to receive it, the rest that has been waiting for you to trust it completely. Sleep now in this perfect knowledge. Rest now in this infinite love. Surrender now to the divine presence that has transformed everything about how you understand peace, how you experience rest, how you receive the gift of sleep that restores not just your body, but your soul. The night embraces you with the tenderness of divine love. The darkness becomes a sanctuary where healing happens automatically. The silence becomes a cathedral where your spirit communes with its creator. You are held by the same hands that painted every sunset. You are loved by the same heart that composed every symphony of creation. You are home in the same presence that breathes life into every moment of existence. Sleep deeply now, transformed soul. Sleep peacefully, beloved child. Sleep in the absolute certainty that you have been forever changed by an encounter with divine love that will influence every moment of the rest of your life. The prayer that began tonight will continue to work within you as you sleep. The peace you have received will continue to grow within you as you rest. The love that has transformed you will continue to renew you as you surrender to the divine grace that makes all things new, including you. You are safe, you are loved. You are perfectly, completely, eternally held by the arms of infinite love that will never, ever let you go. This is your divine inheritance. This is your sacred homecoming. This is the peace your soul has been seeking, and it has found you at last. Sleep now in this truth. Rest now in this love. Be renewed now by the divine presence that has made you completely new. And in this perfect peace, in this infinite love, in this sacred rest, your journey into the deepest, most restorative sleep of your life is complete. You have found what you were seeking. You have received what you were longing for. You have come home to the rest that was always your birthright as a beloved child of the divine. The transformation is complete. The healing has begun. The peace that will carry you through every night for the rest of your life now flows through you like a river of divine grace. Sleep deeply, dear one. You are home.